And we're live. Hello and welcome everybody to this inaugural segment of the WTC, I guess, Wide World of Warhammer segment with Team Germany. So we've got the best and brightest, my favorite European country. Not biased at all, legitimately my favorite European country. I'm not kidding. My bucket list is Germany as number one for my places to visit. So it's been there for a long, long time, ever since being a young Borussia Dortmund fan. So always wanted to visit and always just loved it. So not even kidding. So, but with us today, we got two representatives of Team Germany for the WTC this year. We got David. How are you doing, buddy?
Hi, I'm fine. Thank you.
Good. That's good. But before the pre-show, we could see in the background he's got the CenturyLink field from the Seattle Seahawks. We talked much about the NFL, and I'll save you the boring details of NFL talk for the next hour because we're here to talk about 40K, the more interesting sport.
Sure.
Right? But not as violent and brutal, but, that's okay. That's okay. As well as us, we got... as well as we've got Germany's number one player in the world, Matthias. How you doing, buddy?
Hello. Thanks for the nice advertisement.
Of course. I've got to be pleasant and kind to you guys, right? You guys are the first ones in the series. Got to say all the pleasantries and not kind words, especially when they're true. Too good. So, I understand. So you guys are both returning members to the Team Germany for the WTC. So obviously you attended last year, but how many times have you actually attended the WTC/ETC? Starting with yourself, David, as I think you just count in top of your head.
I think it's 6 times till now.
Wow,
Yeah.
6 times.
Yeah, I think I started in 2014 the first time.
Very long time. And has this always been, as I understand, in a coach role or both playing and coaching?
No. The first 4 years I was in player's role and 3 years as captain. And after that I switched to support cast, now coaching role last year and this year again.
Yeah, fantastic. Yourself, Matthias, how many times have you been to ETC/WTC?
I think I have been part of the team since 2017. 1 year I was the coach, and the other years I've been playing.
Very good. So very well experienced and good. Was part of the framework per se of Team Germany for a long time now. So last year
You picked the 2 experienced players.
Nothing wrong with that. So obviously last year you guys came 3rd overall. Maybe start with yourself, David. So on the support stuff, how do you feel you guys went overall? So were you happy? Were you sad, disappointed, or somewhere in between?
I think before the event we expected a bit more than 3rd, but as soon as the event started and we saw how all the other guys are also prepared, and how the event was going, the second day was awful, and so I think in the end we was very satisfied with getting 3rd and getting this close draw against US in the last game. So I think we were very happy in the end. But this time I think we wanted a bit more.
Absolutely. And I understand you guys have quite high expectations for Team Germany. So in the scene around you, there's a community sense and vibe as Team Germany are always competing. So how many times have you guys won the ETC, David? Is it 4 or 5 times, I understand?
Yeah,
you won it quite a bit.
We've got 4 stars on our jerseys. But I think we won 5 times, but the first time was so early that it's not recorded in this official thing, and I think we won 5 times. So I'm not too sure again.
Does it sound about right?
Do you know for sure?
I think there was if it counts this Corona tournament online. I think the German team won it as well. But otherwise, we do have 4 stars.
We have 4 stars on our jersey, so we always say 4.
That makes sense.
Yeah.
That makes sense. Nice easy counting, right? You can just refer to the jersey and go 1, 2, 4. Yeah, we did it. Oh, fantastic. How about yourself, Matthias? How did you think you guys went overall? Like reflecting back.
I do think I'm pretty happy with the results we achieved. and with the team overall. I think we, as Team Germany, we do have a really strong history with all the stars and winnings. But I think the game itself shifted over the years, and so that the communities in other countries.
Yes.
So if you compare our community with like France or Russia, this is just insane. Or even in the US, where you have players who are playing and doing 40K for work, who are doing it professionally. I do think we only have like 1 or 2 persons in Germany who can do this, and everyone else has to do a normal job. So I think we, at some point, we started to fall behind a little bit, and I think we are catching up right now and doing a lot in the community and got really strong players and strong players who are new players as well. So I'm really looking forward to the next couple of years.
Yeah, absolutely fantastic. So, just reflecting on that. So, have you guys obviously? So, I understand you guys have selected your team fully, and like you got your captains and coaching stuff and everything. Has that been all finalized now?
Yeah, we actually
this week.
this week we had the captain's vote. We had Calvin Lim, who did it last year, as an option, but he will go to be the. I don't know if he will be the head judge or just a regular judge, but he will go to the event and judge. And so we got another really nice, experienced guy who got, in a close vote, he got voted as a new captain for the team. He's relatively new to 40K, but he won the World Championship in, I think, in Malifu and War Machine and other stuff. So he's a really experienced player and captain, and he already did it in other systems.
Yeah, fantastic. So I understand his name's Dom or Dominic, so however he prefers to go by. So yeah, what's it like? So obviously sounds like someone from Malifaux background. Has it been interesting, like hearing him be part of the team? Like, has he brought across some like unique ideas or differences from another game to you guys? Or maybe start with yourself, David. Have you noticed anything that Dom's brought across that's maybe a bit different or unique?
Yeah, well, he's the captain now for I think 5 days, so we haven't noticed that much. But I think this is his big asset, what he brings to the team, this experience from other systems who are very different. Like Malifu is a much smaller scene than 40K is, so I think this brings very much experience in another way. So I think he's perfect for being captain. And bring new ideas to the team. And Matthias and I, we're very experienced at 40K and ITC, WTC playing, know all what's going on there. And sometimes you've got a bias because you've done it all years like that. And I think it's good to bring some fresh ideas to the team.
Yeah, absolutely. So how many new players have you got this year? I mean, Matthias, like how many in your squad of 8 players plus non-playing captain and coaching staff? Like how many people are attending the WTC for Team Germany for the first time? Do you know off the top of your head?
I have to count on my hands, but I can do it one more one. So the first guy who's new, we actually have some people who were there last year but didn't play. For example, Adrian. He visited the Art of War house last year and played the LVO and other things. And last year he was a coach, and this year he put everything he had into the game, so he managed to get a spot in the team and will be playing. Then we have Grisha. The last years, as far as I know, he didn't have much time to play tournaments. So, but this year he put a lot of effort into it, and he won a lot of tournaments. For example, in Amsterdam, he won the tournament by beating Manichima and all other good players all around. And he just won the Bayern Major tournament in the south of Germany. And yesterday he won another Ironman tournament with 5 games in one day. So he's a really good player. And I think he's doing like a doctor in physics stuff. So, and he's our model. So, No.
Yeah,
we got.
just
Then we got. Let me check.
Anne?
Arne, yeah, Arne. He played for Team Belgium last year,
Yes.
but he's a German guy, and this year we snatched him from Belgium, and he's playing for Germany. And then we got Valentin. Vale, actually, when I started 40k, playing 40k tournaments, Vale started as well. So we were kind of rivals and played tournaments all along. But at some point, he decided to travel across Europe, Germany, and live a happy life as a single guy. So he stopped playing tournaments, and now he's back. And he's from Berlin, from next to David, and he's a really strong player as well. So he's a new guy in the team as well. We will see if he
So it
can
says,
do it.
oops. Yeah, wow. So was that everyone that's new, or and everyone else is returning? Yeah, cool. So that sounds like quite the lineup of like new people. So obviously quite a bit of a shake-up. Obviously some people are experienced. So obviously Arne, so he was for Team Belgium last year, but playing for Team Germany this year. And if people recognize that name, that's the person who came second at Adepticon. Yeah, Adepticon in the US. So unfortunately, damn it, wasn't able to beat the Imperial Guard menace of what's his face?
It was his teammate. So they won the team championship, and his teammate won against him in the single event.
Oh, I'm blanking on his name, but Team England dude just said US Meta Soft. I can't remember the dude's name off the top of my head. It'll come to me. Nassim Fouché. That's right. So
yeah,
we got there. We got there at the end. So no, fantastic. So it sounds like you guys. So where you started in an ETC or WTC when like Maelstrom cards and Tempest of War equivalent cards were in, and now it's back to it. So oh yeah, fond memories. So what's it like? So this is a new edition for the WTC. So the first time for the WTC, at least, having a new edition fall on the doorstep. Because 9th edition unfortunately fell smack down all with COVID and just were unable to take it or have an event during that time. So what's it like going back to a new edition per se? Maybe starting yourself, David. Like, how do you guys prepare for a new edition? What do you guys do? And what's it like having a new edition?
Yeah, I think it's very different in the team building process than in the last years, because normally we just draw the top guys for the top armies, and you need maybe last year you need, of course, one playing Eldari, and then you are looking for the best Eldari player in Germany, and that's pretty easy to find the players you need. But this year you need players who can adapt very, very quickly and can afford much time from 16th June to the tournament, because you now have just to play for the next 2 months. And I think that's the main points for looking for building the team. And we played some scrim against other nations, and one of the main goals was to see how fast the player can adapt to a new army, learn the rules, play this army one time, and then forget, play the next army. And so I think the main thing in the team building and looking for players is see how fast they can learn new armies, new tricks, build their own confidence up with this new army. And then, of course, now we've got 4 weeks to build the best armies we can do.
Absolutely. So, have you guys using this time to like look for all the leaks and all the rumor mills and stuff like that, or have you sort of taken this time as a bit of a relaxing period before the 4 weeks of just horror? Maybe starting with yourself, Matthias. Like, have you been using this time to relax? Do some other things, spend time with the partners, say we love them, stuff like that, before we go straight back into 40k just addiction, or what's been happening?
Yeah, pretty much. I'm trying to do all the stuff I can. I have to do in the next couple of weeks and month. I'm trying to do it now. To be honest, I already deleted every single 9th edition file from all my devices, as I no longer need them because I'm not gonna read or play anything, or even want to think in the old editions. So I'm only immersed into the core rules, and right now Tyranid and Marines and what we know about the leagues. So doing like mind maps and overviews and creating groups to look for good combinations or the overall strength and total, and to get a feeling for the new data sheets. So I think most of the stuff is by intuition, and some stuff you can do right now, like doing some calculations and get an overall feeling like what a unit should cost, or what is good, or what the armies might look like, what are good abilities and stuff. So I think this is what you can start with right now, and to some Marine Tyranid games as well.
Yeah, absolutely. Just get those get your feet wet per se, and just start getting a feel for how the game's going to flow on. And I know we expect like a day one FAQ or designers commentary, so we can get some feelings of stuff what's happening, but we won't know the full picture. And obviously, the WTC FAQ and erratas and stuff will change things as well for how we play. And we don't know what the maps will look like or anything like that, so there's still some things to understand and learn. But at least getting your feet wet and getting a feel for things makes sense. So. David, I think so. One thing that was notable about Team Germany last year was you guys took some quite unique and interesting lists. So obviously, I'm pretty sure most people know about that Mortal Wound Tyranid list, which was like,
Yes.
what the hell is this? Very, you seem very proud of that. And I knew,
Yeah, of course.
Fred
It's
from
also very
Breaking Heads.
cool.
Took the Drukari list, which had double planes, is quite unique and different. So, is this something that's pretty common for Team Germany, like taking this unique take on this? Yeah.
I think so. I think Team Germany always tries to be one step ahead of the meta, which of course everybody tries. But most countries agree on the strongest armies and lists and say, okay, just take these 8, maybe got one different because we don't got the players, something like that. But I think Team Germany always tries to squeeze all out of one army and then see if this army can do the top cut. Or like last year, we got Fred, who's also playing Eldari, but Matthias was on this Eldari spot. So Fred had to take some other armies, and he said, I can play Eldari or Drukari best, and then there's long nothing, and then comes some other armies. So I think we had to create some Eldari list who can help us with the pairing. And that's often an idea we get. So if you got some problems in the pairing process, you see pre-list writing, and then we try to adapt and find special solutions for this, like mortal wound Tyranids. Got that.
Yeah, but with this new edition, like you won't have maybe as much time to do testing and stuff like that too. So obviously we'll be able to review the things and like start building some lists and stuff like that. But how do you guys maybe anticipate on trying to create that unique list or unique approach for this new edition? Maybe Matthias, you can answer. Like how are you guys going to try and maybe do this unique approach with such limited time frame between when we get the full rule set and list sub?
Yeah.
Actually, I do think that you have to be comfortable in your army and in your list. And I myself am always a friend of writing your own lists. So, for example, I'm never really consuming any kind of content or looking at lists or looking at who won against which or what is the greatest army. It's like I'm doing it all myself and trying it out. And I do think we have a lot of guys who are thinking this way. And just play and adapt, and then tweak their own lists. And that's why you sometimes the individual stuff, which other people, if you have a really individual list, other people's didn't have the chance to have this one game against it to understand it. And on the other hand, Yeah, it's just this little advantage, and if you are the only guy playing this list, then nobody can really afford to train against it or practice against it. Because if you have like Imperial Knights are good and 20 countries are playing Imperial Knights, then everyone has to play it. Everyone knows the army. But if you're one of two countries bringing Gene Stealers, then nobody is going to even try to invest the time into Gene Stealers. If you're lucky, you have one guy who has read the codex and he says, yeah, maybe he could do this. And then you will do a test game against him and he will suck at the army, and then, okay, this army's trash. Either I don't understand it or it is trash. And then you will see the real guy who wrote the list and you will get steamrolled. And this is a little advantage if you don't bring the commonly known best armies, but the armies which suit the players best, and to put a lot of thoughts and efforts into it.
Yeah, fair enough. How do you guys sort of balance? So obviously, it's nice to take unique armies, unique lists for things, and make it a bit different per se. But how do you sort of, I guess, test the theory of like being like trying to take a unique approach? Because it's very easy for us to say, look, this is the meta, this is what's good, and it wins tournaments, or is the best of the best. But we want to make it a bit of a different approach. And how do we find? I guess my question is, how do you make sure that, like, for example, that Mortal Wound Tunic, this, like, how do you make sure we're not just being stupid and we think we're all very high and mighty and we're being really smart and awesome, but in reality, when we actually test it on outside of our internal circle, it's actually might be terrible. So maybe David, you can answer. How do you sort of test these lists and armies or concepts which are a bit unique and different, and we don't basically fuck around and find per se? It's that we actually get good information and good value and ensure that's a good list.
Yeah, I think, as you say, you have to test the list. And I think this is one of the most important things you can do, is just training and try your army against, let's say, 10 different armies, 10 different players, and see if the list is working. And if you've done that and see, okay, my list got problems here and there, then you can tweak it, or you say, okay, I just take these out. I don't want to play against something, and then it's fine. But you have to just play your army. And I think most players of ours can invest a lot of time in training, and do invest a lot of time in training. And I think if you want to play unique armies, you have to just play more than other countries.
Sure, that makes sense. I understand as a part of the lead up, so between WTC events, you guys actually do quite a lot of scrims. So a lot of like TTS international scrims, as well as in real life events. How important do you find that? Maybe Matthias, you can answer. Like, how important do you find these international scrims for you guys? Obviously, testing out new players, testing out some of these fun lists and ideas. As long as it's not too much secret information being shared. Like, how important do you find these scrims and like those external events?
I really like the scrims and do think that they are important. We actually use them to build the team and to look at new players, how they behave in a team situation, or how accurate they will estimate the results, the pairings, the maps. I think you can see some soft skills as well. For example, if someone is able to join a meeting, put down his list in time, do it correctly, give some relative input and stuff. And if you can handle the pressure, if you can adapt to new situations. So you can see a lot of stuff, and the players themselves can learn a lot of stuff as well, to get into a team feeling and get some team bonding moments. And I also think it's a really nice opportunity to get to know people from other countries better and get some social networking done. So it's good for the network and for our players, I think.
Yeah, fantastic. So how prevalent is Tabletop Simulator for you guys? David, you can answer. Is it quite prevalent, and is it part of your training regime, or is it sort of like a little ad hoc thing, or something you just do on the side?
No, it was this year it was very in the center of the player evaluation. because we finished building the players for the team, I think 2 weeks ago or something like that. And we needed all the scrims to just figure out who's in the team and who's not. Because all players who want to join the team are excellent players on the table, but you need more to win the WTC. And to see this, there the scrims are most important for. So I think it was very crucial this year. I think next year it's more important for other things like list testing, concept testing, working if the lists are working together and something like that.
No, makes sense, and that's awesome that you guys are able to leverage Tabletop Simulator for that in getting unknown names per se, or get people tested and seeing if they can handle the pressure per se, which is awesome. So, how was each person selected for this team? So, I understand. So, as I alluded to at the beginning, I understand you guys sort of use like a ranking system per se of whoever's the outgoing captain, plus I guess some of the top 2 from Germany. Form like a council and select people from there. But maybe, Matthias, you can elaborate more on what the process is like, because I know you're one of actually the initial council members per se.
Yeah, actually we had Lim from last year. He was a captain. So we did form a council of Lim and the rank number one and 2 of the Team Germany ranking. At this point in time, it was Kaio and me. And later in the process, Kaio dropped out because he needed some free time from the hobby and might join later in the 10th edition again. So the third guy from the ranking came after that. And then it was Manuel Wiczorek. He's playing for the team as well this year again. And we started like discussing or getting some criteria done for what you need to join the team. And then we started like inviting new players into the team. For example, Arne did a great job overall the last year, and he's a really nice guy and a good player. And after I played the finals against him in a big tournament, we decided that we would really love to join, Arne to join the team before Belgium snitches him, or he might go somewhere else. So we asked him to join the team. At this point, we started the process with 4 guys. So then Arne was part of the team. Plus, so we started deciding with 4 guys who we would like to have in the team. And then we had a list of applying players and of players we would really like to join the team. And we had constant votings and lots of criteria for people to join or not to join the team. And one by one, we started picking the players, and then the player who got picked into the team started to join the process in deciding who joins as well. So, for example, the last player got voted by 8 guys. That's 7 plus former captain.
Yeah, fantastic. So when you're like number 1 and number 2, are you guaranteed a spot in the team, or do you have to vote yourselves in and say, I am good enough, I can make it in?
Yeah, we had to vote ourselves in. For example, the first 2 spots on the team, we gave 1 spot to Arne and the other one to me. Because I think at this point I just won 3 out of 4 major tournaments in a row and hadn't lost a single game in like half a year or a year. And then Arne as well. And then the next player, the next major tournament, Manuel Wiczorek won it. And he played the last couple of years as well. And Flojo, who played last year as well with the Gene Steelers, he did really good performances in the tournaments, and he was living 40K, like playing tournaments every weekend and traveling around and stuff. So we decided that we would like Manuel and Flo to join the team as well. And so one by one, we collected our players.
Sounds like a reasonable, sounds pretty reasonable why you take those players. I don't know, sounds like some good justification and reasoning. So, yeah, more than fair, more than fair. It's always funny when you have to you're like one of the people who nominate other players, like, am I good enough? I think I'm good enough. And like when you can justify it that easily and say, I won this event, I went undefeated for this song. It's like, okay, yeah, I'm definitely good enough. So it's always one of those little things where you have to vote yourself in per se, which is a bit funny, but.
Actually, I started asking the players as well. So we did like multiple rounds, and for example, when we had the first council, the small group, we had a massive list of people. So the question was, which of those guys could you see in the team? And if someone had no votes and nobody could see that he had any way of joining the team, then we would like rearrange the list and shorten it so we have less player on the list. And later in the process, I started asking the players as well. So I was spamming everyone who was still in the process. Like, here are 60 names. Please tell me if you were the captain and had to choose 8 guys, which was your team? And then I got the answers of every single person and started doing Excel sheets, adding all the stuff. And for example, the first guys we wanted in the team, everyone I asked was Seema them. And then it got harder and harder.
Yeah, no, it makes complete sense. Makes absolutely complete sense. Speaking of Excel sheets and all our funds, the pairings, the absolute pairings wizard itself, David is joined with us. So, David, so obviously you had a player role beforehand, but were you always at the pairings guy for Team Germany, or has this been like a role you've picked up over time?
Yeah, I think I've picked it up since I was the captain in 2015. And since then, I've done the pairing for the team. And we are always doing the pairing as a team. It's not a single guy decision, because you always get better decision if everybody had the chance to insert any ideas. Only if it's crunch and 5 people say yes, 5 people say no, then someone has to take the decision, and that's on me for this year again.
Sure.
And someone has
yeah.
to organize the process before the event, and I think that's more important than the decision in the tournament itself.
Yeah, absolutely. So, how do you guys sort of do the pairing? So, I understand. I know obviously the traditional methods like red, yellow, green, obviously, and all that jazz, or number predictions and stuff like that. But I understand you guys do things a bit differently. So, can you like talk through maybe some of the philosophy of how I guess Team Germany or yourself in particular does pairings maybe a bit differently to what other teams are, or has Calvin been lying to us all the time and just?
I think we're not that much off the normal way. We are also rating armies against each other who we think could play which matchup. And then it depends on the team. If you want to avoid high losses, if you want to get high wins, or if you just say build multiple mirror games like Turnips, or something like that, and let the players on the table decide by skill. That's multiple ways you can do the pairing. And I think we are always trying to maximize the estimation value in the team. And if you have to take 1 or 2 high losses, then it's acceptable for us if you get an overall higher expectation.
Yeah, that makes sense. And like, I think some teams they try and avoid those high losses. Like when we get like a double, or a red, or like a big loss, it's like, oh no, this like ruins everything. But I guess from your philosophy, if taking those big losses early on or somewhere along the lines allows for a greater prediction, then happy days. We don't care if someone gets 20-0 when we can still score 90 or 100 points and win the round, right?
We love to throw someone in front of the bus. So
someone has to do it, right? Someone has to do it, right? Too good. So how, I guess, a bit of a more general question, maybe Matthias, you can answer. So you guys have both been part of the German scene for quite a while now, but how has the scene evolved or grown over time? Like, what has been the biggest thing you've seen change? I imagine 9th edition saw like a massive influx of people playing and stuff like that. And it sounds like you got a bunch of new players on the team, obviously, this year. So obviously a lot of good talent. But how has this like scene changed over time from your eyes, Matthias?
I think we had a couple of years ago, the time when I really started playing tournaments, we still had, everyone had his own system. So if you wanted to go to a tournament, it wasn't impossible to go with the same army. So you had to read through, are we playing 1500 points, 2000 points, 1850? Everyone had his own FAQ, his own errata. Some people said rule of 1, rule of 2, rule of 3. It was like madness in total. And at some point, we decided, a couple of guys in Germany, for example, Jan Heidrich from Kiel, they decided to put some effort into this, into our community, and to unify it and unite it, kind of, and to get a ranking system for Germany and some finals where the top 8 or top 12 guys from the ranking were played out and get like one final victor of the year. And so over the years, we started to grow together as one big community. And then we started getting bigger events. We started not only play tournaments where you go into a little shitty room, stand ass to ass and sweat your ass off, but we started like getting big events in hotels. For example, we had the Firebug or the Alliance Open. So if you're living next to Germany, just join the Alliance Open. It's in Bremen, like 10 minutes away from where I'm living, and it's in a big hotel, and you can eat and drink, and later in the night you can socialize, and basically you're waking up in your room, you go to the table, you play, then you play all day, then you go to the bar, then you go to sleep, then you go to play. So you're like in a different world, for you're emerging into it. And we have a lot of 2-day tournaments. We started having 3-day tournaments now, and they are getting bigger, and the quality is evolving massively, like with the layouts, terrains, game mats, live streams. We have people driving through Germany and streaming live, so other people from home who can't attend can watch the games and the streams and stuff. So I think the community overall is evolving, and I think we are networking with other countries as well. So it's a really nice expansion, I think.
I think if I can, I do one additional thing. I think in COVID, more and more people in Germany tried Tabletop Simulator. It was no thing in Germany before COVID. And we found many, many new players in the scene after COVID. And they were all very, very good because they played Tabletop Simulator. So I went to a tournament after COVID, and I played some guys who I've never seen in a tournament before, and they played so great. It was just awesome. So I think this was a very good push for our community.
Yeah, awesome. And so you talked about also, Matthias, as well, that you sort of brought the community, or over time you brought the community together. And I understand you guys have like a German Discord, which you guys all meet, as well as like some public facing ones. So I know like Target Priority, for example, or Warhammer, which I guess is a German background per se. You guys are all meet and play Tabletop Simulator on. But do you guys also, is there like any other ways you guys connect and try and bring Germany unified? Or is it all just Discord talk or the websites now?
I think it's mainly Discord and events where people meet and driving to tournaments together. For example, if you're alone and you don't know anybody, you can even post in the channel like, can someone take me with them? And then you will meet new people. Or even in the Discord servers, usually it's all open, so to view. So when there are top players playing, then sometimes it's a schedule. I think some people even take the time to schedule games. like put a list of if you want to watch a game, this is the schedule. Like next Thursday, 18 o'clock in the evening, those two guys will play. And then if people see it and want to watch it, then you have new players who can watch good players and playing and stuff.
Yeah, that's awesome. How do you guys? So obviously, Germany is quite a big country. How do you sort of negotiate, like driving all these distances, like from all across Germany? Is it just like group teamwork per se and making it work, or is it generally like a unified, I guess, consensus that we'll only play in certain areas? So, for example, I know the Amsterdam people are like, we'll play most events in this one spot in the one location because it's always like an hour and a half, 2 hours from anywhere in Netherlands. Do you guys like have the same philosophy, or is it just about you sort of host events in various regions and people come to it? Maybe David, you can answer.
No, I think we're very happy drivers in Germany. So we travel around the country for the best events. So like Matthias said, we got the Firebug or the Bayern Open, which are tournaments very in the south of Germany, and we drive about 5 hours by car to there, and we drive very fast in Germany, as you know. But yeah, we love to take these time with we always rent a bus for this, put 8 guys in a van and drive down there, have a good time there, because the events have a high quality. For a one day event in a school or something like that, I wouldn't drive like 6 hours. I'd play this locally, but for these cool class meet events, we drive through the country.
Yeah, absolutely. That's awesome. So are you guys always using like the WTC FAQ and the WTC layouts, or do you sort of change it up? So yes, David, or
yeah, we use the WTC rules, so FAQs and stuff like that. We use other layouts. This is one of special in Germany. We don't get a common pool like how is your large pooler in US? Fly Fantasy. I don't know the name.
that's all right.
FLG or
yeah, like tournament series, like a terrain series, terrain format. Yeah.
And we don't get something like that. We got some small series with 1 or 2 big events, but we don't get this series where you can join one terrain the whole year. In if you stay in, let's say, Berlin, you're playing 5 different layouts, 5 different terrain sets over the year, if you attend only these events only in Berlin. So
yeah, fair enough. Oh, that's good that at least you have the same unified set, so for the rulings and stuff like that, but have some change up with terrains and stuff like that. So I don't know, also with the WTC terrain, like you guys change things up. I know, I can't remember if it's Target Priority or Warhammer have your own unique sort of version of like the same rulings, but just different layouts, and it's quite fun to play on and just a bit different, just to change things up and get ready for, something a bit different.
And I think this is also an advantage if you want to evolve some new lists, because on some layouts you think, oh, I can't play this usual Tyranid list, and you have to play something else, and then you try to think about what Tyranid list can I play, and then you come up with something like 50 more runes a turn.
There you go. That's the key to success, right? So Matthias, you talked about before. So we talked about how you have internal tabletop simulator scrims and like playing games, and people will join and watch. What do you guys generally provide as feedback? So I understand. I know part of Calvin's job last year was to watch a lot of these games and like assess them per se. But what do you generally go in looking at these games? What are you looking for per se when you try and watch those games? Is there like, oh, we're looking for like movement mistakes, or are we looking for attack allocation, or a bit of everything? Or what like advice are you looking to generally give?
It always depends. What is your purpose in watching the game? Like if you're watching someone on a higher level, then most of the time you will just talk about tactics, maybe secondary picks, maybe which rune to use for the game, where to put your melee units or strategic reserves, stuff like this, like analyzing the game or going back in turns. You can make save games and change decisions. And for other guys, if you're watching, you can do like some micromanagement as well, like how to do better melee fights, like small adjustments where you can get cover, where you can make better movements, turning models so your gun is not visible, shit like this. So it can be from small adjustments to just game plans, or like playing one turn and then put it on reset and then turn back, and then the other guy starts, just to get a feeling for the matchup or for the game. Sometimes it's more talking than playing, or sometimes if you want to prove a concept, you can talk all day, but if you have a concept and want to show that it works, then it's okay, let's go to the table, try it out, and as long as you can't beat me with the concept, it's probably shit. So go back to the concept and start working again. And if you can prove it to me on the table, then I will accept your concept. But if it's shit and you get beaten up, then it won't be that good.
No, absolutely not. No, that's great advice though for how you can approach it and sort of learn from them. So look, nothing wrong with some testing to try and test a theory and then finding out it's terrible, but that's okay. At least we tested it, right? You got to figure it out sometimes. So I think one thing we've mentioned a lot during this podcast is like the wide array of German content creators, funnily enough. So it's like quite a field. So I mean, just going for the list: Target Priority, Kings of the Hill, Breaking Heads, and Black Hydra Wargaming are all Warhammer 40k focused German content creators. David, I know you're not. I understand you're not one yourself, but like, how important is it to have like this? Oh, you are. You are. Yes. Oh, you're on mute, by the way. Sorry. Oh, that's all right. That's the best of us.
I was one in the time where we don't got any content in Germany, so I started the competitive YouTube channel in Germany, and then one day I finished my studies and started working, and then I stopped my channel. So yeah.
But yeah, how important is it to have like this like German content creation? Because I see it's actually it's massive when you actually look at the details per se. It's bigger than many of like the more Western media typical channels per se. Like it's quite big internally, even though a lot of the content is German based or in German language. Like it's quite internal per se. But how important is it for you guys to have this sort of these celebrities and personalities do German based content? Maybe start with yourself, David. Like, do you find it
I think
enjoyable and important?
I think it's very important to grow the community, because maybe the top 8 players can't learn anything from this content created, but they can insert their own thoughts and give advices to the community, and then the community can reach the next level and compete, and bring the next new ideas. So I think it's more building up a strong community with good content creation.
Yeah, that makes sense. So, and like just sort of highlighting the various people and like be able to highlight various regions. Matthias, anything you wanted to add there? And I think it's before you add things in, I think it's worth knowing. It's not only just Warhammer content creation as well. It's like hobby as well. Like I know Roman Laporte and the Starly from Taylor Painters, both German-based people. Like I mean, you guys are just killing it with content overall. So, but Matthias, like what is it about like German content which is so special and unique, and like what you get out of it per se?
Yeah, I think so too, that it's good for community, and especially for newer players as well. For example, when I think back to the times when I started, I had no idea how to get into the tournament. Like, what can I expect, or how do I even start? Where can I get like good lists, or what is good in any way? And I was searching in old forums and Facebook groups and whatever for. I think I found an old post which was years ago with a number or an email, and then I sent an email to a guy, and his first reaction was, "Are you 18 plus?" And was like really, really, really weird because he didn't want to play with some kids at home. And for example, if you want to get started now, then you just join a Discord server and look at some videos, and you can see games, and you can listen to people talk about it and interact with the guys in the chats. Or you can just go to a tournament and talk in person and get a lot of input. And I think it's easier to start the game and to have this community and this input of information as well. I think when I started playing tournaments, sometimes I was watching David's videos as well. They had a hot or not board where they would look at the codex. So you had two guys in front of the camera looking through a book, and then after that they have this small board, and they will say, yeah, those units are looking good, so this faction is a great faction, and put it on top of the board. And then you're like, oh, okay, this faction looks good. I have no idea about the game, but let's play it. So, and I think it helps a lot of people to not get frustrated or get some input and stuff if you want to get started.
Absolutely, absolutely. And like Warhammer's already tough to get into, like financially, and like learning all the rules and stuff like that. So any content creators or like that can help expedite the process or get people in and like give them a helping hand. That's more than perfect and awesome. So, but before we wrap things up, so David, do you have any final shout outs or plugs you want to have before we wrap things up? Whether it's a team or yourself.
Of course, always my German team here. My Berlin club. We got a club here in Berlin called GIMS. Shout out to them, and shout out to the Berlin community, who is very active right now. Thanks to our national team league we've started here half a year ago, and I'm very pleased to meet all these guys, and shout out to all the Berlin community.
Oh, that's awesome. So is it like a teams league similar to like the FEC that the French team guys run, or is it like an internal thing?
Yeah, it's an internal German thing. We got 5 divisions, Matthias. I think we've got five divisions. We got 6 teams in our division, playing everyone against everyone, and then we got a final now in 10th edition. Playing out a German team championship.
Awesome. Is that 8-man teams or is that a smaller team?
No, it's 5-man. It's 5 playing men, but you don't play it in one day. So you've got about 8 to 10 guys in your team, and adjust the roster to schedule of the guys who can play at the date and which army is strong at this moment and something like that.
Yeah, that's awesome. That sounds brilliant. Gotta love some team events, right? Especially when we talk about WTC. So, Matthias, any final words or shout outs?
I would like to greet my team as well, and the guys from Kings of the Hill as well, and every player I know. Greetings to Germany.
Just start going down the list, Matthias. Come on, you've got to name every person. If you forget one person, you're a horrible human being.
How much time do you have? I think it's early in the morning for you. I have a list here. I'm prepared.
Yeah. Too funny. No, that's thank you guys for coming on. Really, really appreciate it. So all the links to Team Germany are down in the description below for people who are curious, interested, and want to get into it. So just want to thank you guys for joining us for the inaugural episode of segment. Best of luck at the event. Hopefully you can do better than 3rd place. Maybe take it out, although I'll be biased and say I hope Australia wins again. But, we'll see what happens. If it's going to go to anyone, it'll be a pleasure to go to you guys. So there you go.
Thank you.
No worries at all.
For you.
Thanks for having us.
That's all right.
For hosting the show.
That's all right. No worries at all. We'll hopefully get to play one day and see you over there. Maybe, David, you and I, we can meet in Seattle, halfway across the world, per se, at an NFL game. There we go.
Yeah, would love that.
Awesome. Beautiful.
Well, you come to Berlin.
Thank you. I will try. That's funny enough. That's the plan next year. So not this year, but next year is a big European trip. So the plan is like a month or 2, WTC, and then Germany and Poland is like the 2 countries I want to visit, funnily enough, and then everything else afterwards. So I'll definitely be swinging by. Absolutely. Awesome. Thank you very much, gents.
Thank you.
Enjoy the rest of your night and take care, everyone. Thank you. Awesome.